I know there's going to be a lot of critics out there that say this is a failure on Marissa Meyer's part, yet you do have analysts such as Mizuho's Neil Dashi saying that this is actually a positive for Yahoo, that it's not spinning off Alibaba.
Yeah, there are some real concerns about the tax issue here. That's been a huge burden on the stock price for a long while now. And so this is seen as, hey, we're addressing that. We're doing something different now that basically says we're going to bet on something more secure to get a lower tax rate. That said, other folks on Wall Street are saying, oh, here we go again. We're going to have to wait yet, a year or more for yet another sort of restructuring type thing. And that doesn't necessarily imbue a lot of excitement, if you will.
Well, Brian, I mean, in part, though, this was what Starboard wanted. They didn't want to see that spinoff of Alibaba. So why are the shares down so much?
Well, I do think it gets back to the fact that maybe Yahoo is doing enough to try to placate some folks, but maybe not. They didn't signal we're going to sell everything or anything like that. Maynard Webb, the chairman, said, we don't have that's not on the docket, and so we have I should say they have made no decision to sell the company or its assets. So there were some folks saying, hey, Yahoo's going to get sold, and we'll make tons of money from owning these shares now. Maybe that isn't quite as clear. So there's some tampering, if you will, of the excitement around what might happen as far as an exit for Yahoo.
When it comes to Yahoo, though, people have a hard time defining what the company is. Yes, it's a web portal. For a while, it seemed like Marissa Meyer wanted to turn it into a media company. I'm not sure how that actually went, given that the operations didn't improve all that much. What are Yahoo's most attractive assets right now that it could spin off and do well on?
That's a great question, because I think you do have some stuff that still is seen as very valuable. Email is still used by a lot of folks. There's sports property and fantasy sports, still a major brand. You have Yahoo News, which has a great amount of different places it gets breaking news. And you do have some media assets that are pretty strong, but there are, despite all the criticism about Yahoo, they still do have some assets that folks might want.
So what would be the criteria for a sale of some of those businesses that folks might want?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you would want to say, hey, I can expand my digital place here. Despite the fact that Yahoo may not be the most cutting edge web company, it's still digital. And if you're an older media company or whatever, maybe you say, hey, I can get a bunch of folks on my site right now that are digitally minded through this acquisition. They have some advertising technology that's obviously very digitally focused. So it is a digital play for a potential buyer. It's just a question of, is this would this be the right play for anyone? Because it is a sort of complicated asset.
Talk a little bit about Marissa Meyer and what is next for her. In terms of pay, how long is she tied up for at Yahoo, and how much more of a honeymoon period, if you will investors be willing to give her now that the company is changing direction yet again?
Yeah, the honeymoon has always been a question for Marissa. She is fine, I think, financially from taking the job that she has. But we've been reporting for a while, folks saying, hey, look, the honeymoon's about over with Marissa Meyer. The honeymoon's about over with Marissa Meyer. That said, she's still there, and she's definitely very engaged. And I do think, though, that we are entering a new chapter, a new phase, and there could be a lot more scrutiny about, hey, how are you going to turn around this core asset, the Yahoo business? We'll have to see if she can actually do that, and there will definitely be a lot of scrutiny around that.